these forces are not limited by distance in the way that we are. We are not the first people to try to find our way. That's what led me to seek out traditions instead of just trying to figure it out by myself and what felt good and what felt right. Change and that dynamism is everything. And we have to create the peace that we want and we need. Right? We have to create the life that is relevant for us, that we get to join in with that with in a way that is relevant to us and like our needs, which are different than that one's, which is different than yours, which is different than like that. That's where the relativity is important. And we do that in this tradition through relationship building, by making these offerings, through prayer, through ritual, but it's the relationship with these forces, right? With all of that, that helps us as like human beings to live well and to live in peace, right? And to be healthy so we can live long, we can be connected to all these things in right relationship with other people, with a sense of purpose and connected to what that is and also why we're here. This tradition, it's okay, is a nature-based tradition. It's very much grounded in the things, in the life, right? Not just up here.
Yeah.
Ifa as a technology is a combination of this intellectual, right? Memorizing things, what do these signatures look like? What are these medicines? How do you interpret? That's a very intellectual thing. And this like oral tradition, right? And you're opening up these portals to these spiritual and divine beings in ourselves and all these other spirits as well, right? So it's there isn't the here is better than there.
Yeah.
It's the relationship, right? There is a relationship, and it's for things to go well, we need to be in harmony and nurture those relationships, right? So think concretely about a duck on the pond. The duck is swimming around. It sees its family. It sees its community, right? Is the pond big? Is it little, right? I need to navigate there. Oh, maybe I'll go walk around and there's a pond nearby. I'm gonna go walk to it, right? So there's that above, even if it's just on the water, right? The world above is important, right? Don't want predators, right? Yet, a lot of its food under, right? So it has the ability to like, obviously depending on the ducks, some are diving ducks that go underwater and like fly underwater, swim underwater to eat, right? No, they're nurtured by what is hidden from just those in the above world, right? If you're on a boat, you see the duck, oh, it just lives there. And then it sticks its head underwater. You're like, I don't understand what it's doing. There's nothing down there, right? Because that's not for us. But the duck knows that's where it's nurtured, right? So that's already those two realms it just lives in. It can't have one without the other. The nature of the duck is to be able to live there. And then it can also fly away. The pond's not big enough. I've been here. I'm gonna go. It's time to move where it's warmer, or just to another pond, or down the river. So then it's in a whole nother realm of flight, where it's using its body in a completely different way. Even if it's a diving duck, it's diving and swimming underwater completely different than how it flies. And how it communicates there is different than how it communicates in all these other realms, because that's its nature. And so it's, for us, it's how do we continue to come back to our nature of the ways that we are connected to these different realms where we have different kinds of relationships. Our ancestors, right, are beings who were once living human beings like us, who died as we do, and are now these spiritual beings, and our relationship with them changes, but it continues. And so that's a different type of technology and growth about our nature and how we stay connected to these beings who know what it's like to live with all the noise and all the confusion, all the relativity and all the absoluteness and the balancing and the trauma and the love and the joys, right? And now it's our time here. So we're also connected there. And that just gets to be another relationship that we get to lean on, as well as that gets to help us to be ourselves. Even as so much in that glob, right, is telling us, no, 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 no. For you to be, you have to be this way. This is where the value is, right? And so we have to say, oh, yeah, there's something else. And we have to find a way out of that. The skillful practice is about moving this kind of, if we talk about here and there, right, this kind of back and forth. And the more, there's like a time and a place for anything, right? There's a time and a place to like, I need to eat some food, right? And I need to like do these regular things. And then there's this time and the place to like be connected and be expansive and listen and learn and be in those other ways. Bringing more of myself to more and more spaces that I'm in. So there's less of me censoring myself to work here with this person. And actually, I find that people actually have much more capacity to hold more of myself as I'm bringing more of myself. And the more that we continue to like unfold what this is for us, right? The more our presence and more of ourselves gets to be here, right? In as free a way as possible, the better it all is, right? So yeah, there are people actively, right, chewing up people and chewing up lives, right, and chewing things up. Like that is an active force.
Yeah.
And so the importance again is for me, not just let me work to undo that, because I can get confused if my work is about undoing that, and if there's a difference between the work of undoing that and the work of my own life. It's connecting to something greater than it, not in it, but greater than it. So if you think of that, right, hegemony, right, this tarry mess, right, that we're in, right, all the likes, you're not enough, you're da-da-da, if you want to be good, you have to do this and stomp on other people, right? That's this thickness. These are the circumstances that we're living in, right? Regardless of how I feel about myself, right? I could go outside and a police officer could see me a certain way and do a thing to me, right? That's the muck of that. If my identity is solely entrapped in that, right, then I internalize that as well, right? I'm like, oh, I guess I'm less than, oh, for me to be successful, right, I have to take on these strategies of being over somebody else and what power means, right, to be successful. However, if I remember and connect to this thing which is greater than that, right, which these circumstances exist in the context of this universe, right, this multi-layered, multi-dimensional, physical, spiritual beingness that we're in, however we want to frame it, right? The more we connect to that then becomes what we rely on. We still have to live in these relative circumstances. I have to, right? Oh, I gotta pay this bill. I have to go eat dinner, right? But it doesn't define me because I'm actually connected to this. And so I can't be corrupted because I'm connected to this thing which is not based on the specific circumstances, which means, yes, the horrors of today are the horrors of today, and they've been going on for a very long time. And the answer in some ways is still, let me be connected to this thing, this beingness, which is far greater than any of it. the power of like waking up and like that, doing that is the thing that also helps others versus, oh, I think I know what you need to come out of the muck. Let me do this thing. I'm right. My obligation to you. I'm going to go do the thing, and then you're going to get out of the muck. That there's different things that come into play when we start to do that. That gets very tricky because, like, oh, so would it be okay for someone else to tell you what they think you need to come out of the muck? Oh, I feel obligated. I need to come to you and tell you you need da 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 da. And maybe it's right. Maybe, could be on point, but could be completely not. There's a multiplicity of what it means to be a person, right? If you look at through time, right, the massive diversity of what human culture has been, even though we're all people, right? Language, culture, access to spirit, how to make a thing, what food, what tools, right?
What noises? Yeah.
What noises, right? And like this particular culture, right, is this like monoculture. This is the one way. If you veer, we will cut you off, right? We will mash you in, right? Which is different. So that aspect of control is different. That's this. When you do this, there's still a way to be a human person. And it's not about being an amoeba or a wood sprite or a duck or anything else. It's actually the wonder and the preciousness of us here now. Not because, oh, human beings, I see them out there. Oh no, me.
Just who we are.
Who we are.
Right now.
Right now.
In this time. Yeah.
In this time.
Yeah.
And even with the multiplicities, can you take that multiplicity and say, what's the significance of that in this time, in this form, in this way? And let that be the journey versus all the ways we try, oh, I guess I need to leave this, right? I'll kind of dissociate, right? Disappear a little bit because I don't, there's not room here, right? Everyone is walking this way. You have the door with the doorknob and the chair you have to sit in. You're like, there's not space for me because I have to walk a different way and I can't reach that or I can't turn it. So I guess I don't belong. No, not that you don't belong as a person, right? That glob says this is what it means to belong as a person. No, I belong. And maybe there are systems I need to undo so that the more of me can show up. Before the pandemic, people would ask me to do readings for them. You know, they're across the country or in another country or something. And so I was like, well, we can do this kind of video piece. And people are like, well, is it still as effective? And I say, well, so long before the internet, in ancient times, in traditional, in Nigeria, right, among the Yoruba traditional people, they would like, I don't know exactly what they would make, but they basically like make an item. And if you remember, just like we touched the divining things like to your head, right? So they would like touch it to their head, right? That's their own divinity, their own destiny. And they would send that with a messenger to the priest or priestess who was going to divine for them, even if they were in a separate town. So then the person would receive that, divine, right? Connect the instruments, divine, and then send back what the messages are and what needed to be done. And so is really understood, you know, these forces are not limited by distance in the way that we are, right? What is being done, what is being connected to, and the reading isn't like, you know, with some people in terms of being psychics and healers and energy, right? There's they're reading the person, right? There's like through their instrumentation with this other. And what this system is actually, I'm using these tools and it's like, these are the things that open this portal. I mean, I can't say that I'm not instrumental in it, but it's not just me by myself. It's these tools to like, this opens it. And then through that portal, through this specific language, through the specific technology, the messages come through to be passed on. They're not I interpret some of them, but they're not like wholly, oh, I'm seeing this or I'm seeing that, right? And so in that way, it's a real conversation through me between you and your destiny and your forces and these other ones. And I'm this like in between, not even like this channel in between, but this kind of this, oh, they're saying this, here's the language. Oh, there's a technical piece of it, which is very interesting to me, even as it's very connected to a mystic tradition as well.